Welcome to the finals of our 9th Newcomers tournament. We're here with Retak, Magnus Slavicus, Trump, and Akuru. Still Blues here with Death Tacticus. DT.
Still loading in, but okay, now I
Alright,
see.
so we have a chem colony this time. We have double price chems to start. That is going to be something to pay a lot of attention to. We also have double price oxygen and aluminum.
So, when you see chemicals double and chemical colony, you always want to think of carbon. Where is the carbon? And I only see that at the bottom. So I would be thinking, because silicon is close by, to go Nomad.
Nomad definitely a great option, especially with electronics starting half price. You cannot go scavenger on this sort of carbon. Well, you can, but it would be highly inadvisable, especially since there are no other resources particularly nearby. Instead, we're seeing a scientist as the first drop. Solid with some ice nearby, not too far from silicon or aluminum.
Scientific is alright. I would have liked to see that he found it a bit north of where he found it. Like, he only has 2 water tiles now next to his base. He could have had much more.
Well, Akuru ends up picking up the Nomad you're talking about. I'm not sure how I feel about the second HQ next to water. That's okay. It's also far away from aluminum, which started double, and aluminum's going to be a problem for most players to start. Trump ended up picking up some, going with a 1-1-1 start, which makes a lot of sense with these starting prices. Magnus did pick up the aluminum, Retak did not.
I'm going to say the second round from Akuru was fine because there are nukes on the market. You can always take the metal mine back, but if you're found next to water, you can transition much better. You don't have to worry about water claims late game.
That's definitely fair. This also gives him a few more options for silicon, which probably won't be necessary since his first base has that much next to it. One thing I might have liked to see from Retak instead of the steel, since that started reasonably cheap, you could have gone for double low aluminum instead. If that ever crashes out, you still have the option of transitioning the aluminum into steel.
I can go into it now, so I think it's fine. I see Akuru going to 3 aluminum. That is way too...
It's very similar to something Akuru did in the last game we saw from him with the double aluminum claim. I'm sure he plans on returning a bunch of these later on when he doesn't need them anymore. But yeah, definitely a very aggressive use of the claims and claim returns. He did return the claim on this high silicon of his too. It's potentially dangerous, but
it's fine because he's Nomad, but still I don't think it's the optimal play, and I have to say that he also only has 1 silicon tile. I mean, silicon is $10. Still cheap, but still.
Right. He has a decent amount. He should be able to get to HQ3 without any problems, and there's no need to rush into power, so it shouldn't be a problem, but yeah, definitely something to potentially be concerned about.
Okay, I want to talk about Trump because I see 2 mistakes. One is the carbon and one is the high water. I mean, it makes sense to go into high water, but there are nukes on the market. Plus, he is next to ice. I think ice are is a much better option to go when there are nukes on the market. Yeah.
Right, in a game with nukes, it's always nice to have tiles you don't need to worry about getting nuked. And especially as expansive, you can afford just the few extra claims on the ice. Like, you have them anyway. And if you absolutely need to, you can move them to something else. It's very nice.
I see pirates. I don't agree with pirates. You only go for pirates if you really have to, and I don't think that's the situation now. Aluminum is cheap now because everyone went heavily into aluminum, so you don't need to invest in that black market item.
Right. Like the first pirates onto Magnus's aluminum very early on maybe made a little bit of sense, except I'm pretty sure it came from Retak, and Retak does have good access to aluminum himself, and so it's really delaying him more than it's helping him. This second pirate doesn't make any sense, unfortunately. Just aluminum was way on its way down, and everyone has enough that there's just no need to pirate it.
There was a claim auction for 28k from Magnus. I think that's a little bit too much because he's already 64k in debts this early on. That's a little bit too much, but maybe with this Geo he can pay some of his debts and will be fine. He just upgraded. He's going into chemicals.
It's okay. Chemicals are a very good market right now. There's still the colony demand. It is problematic that he's second into it after Trump, and it's also problematic that no one has reactors down, so...
What he needs to do is rush carbon scrubbing. Go into Banlab and go for carbon scrubbing, because you know carbon is... you don't have many carbon tiles on the map.
It's an interesting power surge from Akuru onto Trump's chems. Definitely a good target because of how profitable they are, but it's always worth paying attention to who you're helping, who you're hurting with your black market attacks. In this case, Akuru was going for patents. He wants chems to be cheaper, and so by freezing Trump's chems, you are hurting Trump, but you're also hurting yourself, and you're helping Magnus. Something to be careful about.
You know what is interesting? I see like 3 players that are in camps and the other one is in 0, but I don't see any reactors. Like, the fuel price is going to skyrocket now, so whoever is not consuming fuel needs to buy into that to gain a lot of free money, and I think only Retalk has that option, really. Yeah.
Okay, definitely some problems here. Trump transitions all his steel into even more chems. Again, like you were saying, no one has reactors. That is going to be the market pretty soon. And
also boost.
Yeah. Trump also doesn't have any steel stockpiled. Like, he had the option to buy up a lot of steel at $20. I guess he upgraded.
Magnus is going for teleportation, but that's a mistake. You have water next to base, you have iron base.
Right. Even if you want more water, even if you want to ship in the silicon stuff, that's all close enough that it's not really a problem. You can connect up to the ice up top. The silicon, you maybe have a little bit of an argument, but it's not a glass colony or an electronics colony, only consuming a little bit of each, so you don't need more than 1, maybe 2 claims on there, especially with a Nomad on the board.
There was a tile auction started by Retalk, the one that's from that Trump won now for 18k. I'm not sure if that's a good thing for Trump. 18k is already a lot of debt. I don't think it's worth it.
Right, definitely feels like a bit of an overpay, and I feel like it's doubling down on the mistake by putting a second claim down for the second reactor next to it. Obviously, always nice to have the adjacency, but not always worth it.
Now chemicals are low and much useless, but...
Yep, auto off most places.
Akura is going for carbon scrubbing, while Magnus is going for nanotech. Nanotech can be useful. I would only really go for nanotech if I know electronics or steel is going to be high late game, which I don't think it's going to happen.
Yeah, nanotech can also be useful if you need to use your steel tiles for other buildings, but in Magnus's case, there's not really a good way to use those tiles for anything else.
Trump already HQ level 5, you probably want 10 left. Yeah, he is going for a Geo, for Platinum. Okay, this colony is really weird, following the habitats. I've seen that. But he's going for, he should have gone for the one to the right, but that's fine. He's going in the pen lab, he's going into one more Geo. He's still didn't transition into chemicals, something better like life support. Probably needs one more silicon because glass is also high. Having silicon is always useful. So yeah. Carbon scrubbing for Akuru. That is going to help him a lot. He doesn't any carbon. Does he have enough water tiles? No, he doesn't, but he transitioned them into those buildings into water tiles now, so that's going to be fine.
Yeah. Some other things to point out about Trump's base in particular. We talked about how ice would have been a lot better than the water. Even though it hasn't gotten nuked, it's 3 claims away from his base. They're consuming a ton of fuel right now. and that's contributing to his barely breaking even on fuel despite producing so much. Could have had a lot more money if this is just ice. Other things, Akuru, we talked about how this Nomad found was good because it had the easiest access to carbon. It ends up getting none of the carbon tiles next to him, which is just a pretty big mistake.
Okay, there's a claim going 28k, your B rating, your C rating, going for this. Like if you're around B, C, and especially D plus whatever, don't go for auctions. You cannot afford them most of the time.
Right, unless they're going to be extremely beneficial to you, or you anticipate paying off a lot of debt very quickly with power, neither of which is necessarily true for Trump, then you can be better off without that.
He didn't go for a Pleasure Dome, it was a pen lab, that was my mistake. But he's going for a Pleasure Dome now, and he's going for virtual reality. I guess superconductor, he needs that because he's consuming a lot of power, so it's fine, but after that he needs to go get virtual reality, and then should be in a good spot.
Yeah, I think I'd probably like to see thinking machines too. Okay, good. The geo borehole was a misclick, otherwise it would be easy.
See a lot of pairs from Magnus, not sure how I feel about that, like, yes it can work, but I rather see like those two collapse into one more farm and one more reactor. Like make more money in one market first and maybe HQ level go into class.
To be honest, I don't know when those came down, but yeah, it's
Me
probably
neither.
true.
I'm just seeing it now.
Yeah, because if they were positioned that way for a reason earlier, then it makes some amount of sense. But yeah, I know the chems were where the solar panels are. Most of this makes sense.
Akura already buying into Trump. Trump is in D plus spawn.
Still,
I guess you can do that, but like the other two players can now decide to backstab you and buy into you.
yeah, definitely a concern. I think it's not necessarily a big deal this game since Magnus and Retalk are both lagging behind a bunch. Don't have much money, they need to be focusing on themselves and catching up. But if Akuru is going to make this play, I would prefer if he defended the stock first.
Yeah, he's paying more money now. Like that.
Right. I mean, it is... all the money you spend defending yourself is money that you're spending not attacking Trump, but it also means that you're giving Trump more opportunities to buy deeper into his own stock or do things like that, which means committing his money to things that aren't dealing with his debt. Could make him a softer target in the long run.
Wanna talk about Retalk here. He's going into a free class 1 optimization center. He's a little bit behind. Could maybe do something with upgrades later on, but I'm worrying about him now. He's like,
yeah, I'm not
there yet.
I'm not really sure where things went wrong for Retalk. Definitely got off to a bit of a slow start with the pirates and the steel instead of the aluminum. Beyond that, it felt like it's a very solid set of claims. Maybe the ordering was a little off. I know there's a single solar condenser for a while. And I guess he just never made all the money on chemicals that everyone else was making. It's not quite sure where he fell behind this much.
So it's between Trump and Akuru now. Not sure who win. Trump has 2 Pleasure Domes with virtual reality and Akuru has 1 Pleasure Dome without virtual reality. But Trump is in C-dubs, so...
Right, Intrastic coming soon as well.
He should be attacking Akuru if he can. His black market cooldown is now down, he can buy something. He should probably buy a power surge, and what should he be targeting? Reactors? Oh, it's not much that's making money for Akuru. So, okay, maybe farms, never mind. He's going in a third farm now.
I'm actually really concerned about the direction Trump has taken. Like, he bought a bunch into Akuru and then he sold out a few shares and I think used most of that money to pay his debt down. It is a lot of money wasted doing that.
I think it's fine because this is going a little bit longer than normally. If he switch the farms, then Akura is not going to make any money.
Yeah, I mean, that much is fair, but just like order of operations. Don't buy into the stock at first. It's a 10% penalty for every time you're selling
like
the
that.
stock. Well, more than 10% even. Also, the auto payment of debt is concerning. When you're in the stock race, you need to have the cash available. Even though you do want to keep the debt under control, auto pay debt can just be very dangerous because you don't know exactly how much money you're flushing into there.
Retalk is building an off-road, it's almost done. Off-roads are good, 42k. The only problem is it's oxygen, so the price will go up really fast. Akuro is also building off-road now. He needs to do that because he's not going to make any monies anywhere else except farms.
Right. Like DT was saying, oxygen, you produce so little of it with your reactors. If it's not a dry ice map, you're going to be chain launching oxygen. That price is going to go up very quickly. The way to deal with that is to prepare by putting a lot of optimizations in oxygen beforehand.
I want to say electronics are really high.
Yeah.
One in, which is a mistake. I see 4 glass from Retalk, that's a mistake. It's 93, 92 now. A lot more glass from Magnus too, also 4 glass, 6 glass even. Yeah, that's way too much. Should transition them over into something electronics.
I think Trump actually has a pretty good shot at winning this race. These 2 pleasure domes just doing such good work for him.
Yes and no, because he needs to start attacking, and this off-road is going to start making money for Kuro.
It's gonna make some money.
40k is...
If a crew were launching water, yes, but he's launching oxygen, unfortunately.
Okay, 2 pleasure domes still better than 1 off.
Yes. So it will definitely be up in the air. Trump also just has a very solid cash lead because of the cost of the off-world.
Trump needs to go into 1 off-world at least, I think.
I don't know that he needs an off-world to finish the Bionic Crew, but long-term it might be something he wants. Magnus hasn't gotten any off-worlds up. Retalk is still on HQ4, so I think he might be fine pushing for it. But
I take that back.
Yeah, he needs to look into something like electronics or just better markets right now.
So what Magnus now really needs to do is start buying Retalk, otherwise he has no shot. Retalk be defending himself and hope that Magnus is going to help him with whoever is left between the battle between Trump and Akuro.
This is definitely something we saw earlier from Retalk as well, just building that early HQ4 off-world, which was a fine idea, but also just not defending himself, building up a huge stockpile of cash, a lot of money and a lot of resources, just not getting converted into something useful. Crew is actually going to be buying into Retalk. This should just hand the game to Trump. Trump is very near the buy.
Yep.
And it's a little unfortunate that that's the way this is going to end, but Trump probably had a very solid edge regardless.
Magnus has nanotech, and I have
Magnus
also
going into an off-world now.
I think Magnus could have done something.
There was
potentially.
Potential, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know that it would have been enough or soon enough. He should probably sell out of some of the steel and
2
aluminum.
off-roads. Too bad you cannot nanotech off-roads anymore.
Yeah, it's a little broken.
But yeah, Trump should have the buy. Is he even looking at the money? He should always put your total money on the top right.
Cash plus resources, the single most important line in
Look
any
at
tooltip.
aluminum. Look at aluminum. Look at carbon, sell that.
Alright, there are 2 players with several hundred aluminum, and with the price this high, that should never be the case.
Yep.
Okay though, we're going somewhere. Expos is asking what went wrong with Akuru.
He started buying into Trump, right?
That's a little bit, but he was behind before then as well. Like, he was on HQ4 while Trump was HQ5.
Why would you buy into someone when you're not, like... You
Well,
cannot close it down.
that's fair. Trump was at D+1, and I think that was a motivating factor. It could be useful in some regards, but yeah, I think a lot of it was not securing the carbon when he needed to. Eventually did pick up slant, got this down, but a little late and it kept him a little slow. I think the boost onto the chems itself was a bit over aggressive. Chems were already on the way down. Again, no one had the reactors there. No one was anticipating that low price.
I see two more problems, or what he could have done differently. He has thinking machines. Rather than attacking Trump, he should have defended himself, go into 2 off-roads. You know he had defended well with thinking machine. Also, I see auctioning a tile. You could have spent that next to the habitats and hope that other players are bidding on that, so that there will be more pleasure dome, which means that Trump will get less revenue of that pleasure dome.
I think other things that concerned me, the triple aluminum play early on, I think was an overcommitment. Again, we talked about the idea behind that, just taking advantage of the early aluminum price, being able to change that later with return claims, but
this is a big mistake from Trump. He's building 2 off-roads while he should be buying out Retalk, because he has 2 off-roads. He's going to, like, if he buys him, he has 2 extra off-roads from different player, so why even bother making your own off-roads?
Yeah, always important to pay attention to that. But I think Trump is fine regardless. Magnus is making a bit of a run, but he needs so much money to finish this off. And Trump has really good production based off of these superconductor power buildings and a lot of other things.
I think yeah, go ahead.
Without major mistakes, I think he has this, like, buying back into some of this aluminum was a bit of a pretty solid mistake.
If Akura didn't buy into Retalk, then I think that would have been a bigger chance, because Retalk has a lot of money. So if Magnus bought a lot of stocks into Trump and then Retalk finished by, then Trump should be done.
Yeah, there's
definitely...
Yeah.
That's like what could have happened. I see that.
Trump was in a strong enough position that he should have been able to carry it. He's been opening up vulnerabilities with the plays he's been making.
2 players are in D-depth. It's not good. Power is really high for some reason.
Yeah, no one's producing enough, even with superconductor.
Look at Magnus and Retalk. They are doing a blues.
Hey. Magnus is positive on power, and Retalk is not, I guess is the way to put it. Yeah, there are a lot of pleasure domes on the map right now. That is one of those things that you have to be careful about. The normal amount of power you are producing, right, with off-worlds and pleasure domes just isn't enough. Other things I want to point out, Retalk, we talked about how he had the low aluminums next to him that were going to be very useful. He eventually ended up claiming these aluminum remote from him, and I just don't see any reason for that.
No, never.
Yeah. Isn't better aluminum by enough to be worth anything, and it's just stuff that you can't transition anything useful.
Those 2 claims are now dead claims, so like, yeah, you're producing aluminum, but aluminum is 24 now, so what's that going to do for you?
Exactly. But yeah,
I
think
the game is over.
Yeah. Retalk has so much money. Imagine he had all his stock still.
Yeah, but he's in D+2 depth, so...
Yeah.
Still.
Yeah.
Oh.
Well done by Trump, taking our 9th Newcomers tournament.
It's 9 already? Jeez.
Yeah. Very, very
sure
solid win. Yes, I checked.
Are we not around 7?
I was concerned.
Jeez. I cast so many tournaments.
Did I cast all the Newcomers? I might have missed 1 or 2. I don't know.
I don't know either.
Anyway, that was an exciting group of matches. I guess there's probably more to say about this one. I don't know what.
Well, I can go in detail. Well, people want to see.
Go for it.
Okay, I see off-roads next to the colony. I'm not sure what that's about. I mean, this one is probably from the AI.
Yes.
Reading out both of them, probably. Okay. Biggest mistake, I see nukes on the market still. Okay.
Water was an issue for a big chunk of the game. Nukes could have helped with that a lot. Arbin as well.
Pirates 20k, that's like, don't do that, please. I don't think anything made sense pirating throughout the game, but I may be mistaken.
Yeah.
I just don't like pirates.
Right. Let's talk about why you don't like pirates.
Why?
Pirates feel like a good thing. You're taking some of your opponent's production. It's a little bit of money in your own pocket. Why is that bad?
Why? Because you can buy a power surge and just deal that damage like triple times. I mean, sure, you're not gaining the money, but you're denying the money from your opponent like times 3. Whatever the pirates would do.
Right, okay. Just to spell things out a little more.
Oh, sorry, I'm not...
No, it's fine. I'm putting you on the spot here. Pirates are a slow-acting black market item. Like, at most you're getting half of a shipment every whatever long the cooldown is. It's significant, the cooldown. So you're not slowing down your opponent by all that much, and you're only getting very few resources over a fairly long period of time. So you can make profit off of pirates fairly often, but not necessarily more than you would have gotten if you're investing that money smartly instead. And also
That's not what I said, but okay.
That's what I'm saying.
Okay, don't put me on the spot. I'm saying, like, you could spell it to damage your opponents. That will, like, last or deal damage like 4 more times than pirates ever would be dealing.
Right, like, when you're hitting someone, you want the hits to be fairly concentrated in a time window, because that's when you know you can take advantage of it the best. If it's a slow, small drain, like, it's not something that's going to do all that much.
Yeah, let's stop talking about pirates.
Yeah, that's probably more about pirates than we needed to say. Anyway, yeah.
Patterns, yeah, that's fine. Everyone.
No one really optimizing oxygen enough. That's kind of fine with water being a very viable alternative launch, with food being a pretty solid alternative launch as well.
Okay. One more thing I want to say, like the biggest reason Trump won, okay, was HQ level 5 first, but those 2 plushy domes kinda made him win the game.
Yeah, definitely something that came up earlier. When you have multiple expansives, or if you have elites, or whatever, pleasure domes are amazing.
He got 500k from pleasure dome.
How much did he get off-world?
243. Yeah.
Nice. Retalk had those off-worlds up for a long time and only got 684. Don't underestimate pleasure domes.
And don't overestimate.
Yeah, I guess there's a lot to pay attention to with pleasure domes.